we'll keep on keeping on with.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the opening of MIP-TV's Spotlight on 3D TV. I mentioned to some people, if you move closer to the middle, you'll get the 3D effect a little better. But in fact, we won't be doing anything in 3D. If you want that experience, we welcome you all to go down to the level 01 and visit the MIP-TV 3D broadcast content experience area on aisle 11, that's stand 1124, as well as at the Korean Broadcasting Commission, Communications Commission has a stand on aisle 13 showing 3D content. Today, we're very privileged, in fact, to have with us some illustrious speakers in the area of 3D. There's always the question, what comes first, the content or the technology? In this case, without 3D technology, the content wouldn't be possible, and we need more content in order to build a massive network of viewers. We're going to have an overview, first of all, from one of the world's leaders in 3D technology, and that's Sony Corporation, Mr. Akira Shimazu, followed by a 3D guru from PricewaterhouseCoopers in France, Mr. Vincent Tolade, and he also has a report he'll be telling you a little bit about. There's a few copies available at the entrance, but it will be posted on the MIP-TV website at the end of the day. Our next speaker after that will be Mr. Young-Soo Oh from the Korean Communications Commission, followed by Julian Stanford from IMAX Corporation in UK. So without further ado, please give a warm welcome to Mr. Akira Shimazu, Senior General Manager of the 3D and Blu-ray Disc Project Management Division, Sony Corporation, Japan.
Good afternoon, everybody. Let me explain about total 3D market and Sony's approach how to grow this 3D world. Top two picture is the FIFA World Cup public viewing, which we had in Japan. And as you see, we have 900-inch big size screen in 3D, and this much audience enjoyed the 3D soccer game with 3D. And those experience we brought to home. So we really think that this kind of 3D is lean forward entertainment, not just sit back and relax, but really concentrate on the game or the sports, and such an experience we'd like to offer. Let me touch upon some history. So until 2000, we have prepared all kinds of standard definition product categories, like TV and DVD or PS2 and camcorder and PC. Those category we converted to HD on last decade. So flat HD panel, and we made a Blu-ray format, and PS3 with a Blu-ray, and also HD camcorder format, AVC HD, and Blu-ray PC. And now we will change everything to 3D. So 3D flat panel HD display and 3D format for Blu-ray. And all the PlayStation will be upgraded to 3D. And we have 3D camcorder and the photo and PCs. And top one is home theater equipment. We had a 3D trial in 1950s by film, but unfortunately it failed. So now we retry with this digital cinema, and it is so successful. I'll touch upon later. So I believe this 3D is a natural step of visual evolution to really reproduce reality. So it's not just popping up attractions. This is real tool to reproduce reality. And this is a Sony approach. And first, let me explain from right side. This right arc shows from lens to living room, such a living room entertainment path. So we have all the broadcasting equipment in 3D and covering creation and distribution covered by network and also Blu-ray disc and display of the TV and homes and theaters. And this we have completed last year. And what we are adding is two. One is the personal world. So this year, we will introduce this handheld camcorder or Blogi and digital camera in 3D in such a personal imaging and watching through this kind of personal display like a Vaio PC or head-mount display or portable products. So this is a new additional side. And we also expand that 3D world to network. Sony has a 3D network service which called Curiosity. So this has 3D capability, and also this kind of personal contents will be uploaded onto sharing site so that we can enjoy with friends. So let me explain one by one of the hardware category. This shows 3D TV market. I think everybody has a concern on 3D TV market is growing or not. So as you see, we have a sharp increase of 3D TV market. This is US, this is Europe. Same kind of curve we can see. And from top, it's a plasma. And the purple one is above 50-inch LCD. And the green one is around 46-inch LCD. And this light green one is about 40-inch. So size-wise, it's different, but they're showing the same kind of curve. We have a sharp growth in holiday season, and even after the holiday season, first quarter, we are keeping the same kind of momentum as last fourth quarter. So, and let me show one more number. In Europe, above 46-inch, 30% of 46-inch TV sold is 3D capable. So which means larger screen TV, 3D will be the essential feature from now on. Next product category, key category is PlayStation. The reason PlayStation is important is not only for the 3D game. Of course, we have attractive 3D games like Gran Turismo 5, but also this PlayStation will be the Blu-ray 3D player, and also PlayStation Network can deliver 3D game and movies to PlayStation, and also 3D photo can be shown through PlayStation. So those upgrades is very free. So currently, 48 million players, PlayStation 3 is penetrated worldwide, and all those PlayStation will be converted to 3D player for all the categories. So I think this kind of upgrade will resolve chicken and egg type of situation. So if customer buys the TV, and they can enjoy those contents by just upgrade of the PlayStation. And the left side I said, so personal imaging area, this kind of handheld handycam, 3D handycam can reproduce 3D image at almost same quality as broadcasting equipments, which means per eye, this format has full HD. So left eye is full HD, right eye is full HD. So we can shoot 3D image in this compact camcorder. And also we have much casual products like a Blogi or the CyberShot Handycam and digital camera. This is creation products. From left to right, we have total 3D workflow. So compact P1 camera, which can be mounted on the rig, and optical fiber adapter, which can feed the signal of the Studium camera to 3D Obi-Wan. And this is a multi-image processor, which does a lot of things I can explain later. And the switcher, and the monitor, and recorder. We have all those in 3D. And what this 3D processor does is, for example, pick up some points and display where it is located, which means convergence and depth. So center part is a TV screen, and the left side shows the object is popping up to your side, and the blue side, it's far side. So that we can control by this kind of remote to adjust where the image should be in 3D. And those things we can adjust by this processor. And with those systems, we have completed 3D workflow. But at next NAB, and next week NAB, we will announce another all-in-one camcorder. I think that will really drastically reduce the cost of 3D production, and also which gives the mobility. So I think this will create really interesting 3D images. Different aspect. Even we prepare the equipment, unless it is shot in right manner, 3D visual effect really hurts people. So we have a lot of training centers. We have created a 3D technology center in Culver City, Hollywood, and we gave all the know-how of 3D production to broadcaster or other studios. And we created another one in UK at Basingstoke 3D Experience Center, and doing the similar kind of 3D training. And we also opened the Mumbai MediaTek Center together with Reliance Media to convert Bollywood movie to 3D. And Japan and China. So those areas we are doing free education of how to shoot 3D in good manner. So let me touch upon the contents from now. So this is a summary. So over 200 movies is scheduled to be made in 3D by 2013. And as to Blu-ray 3D, over 100 titles will be released by the end of this year. And 3D games, already 35 titles are announced or released. And 3D broadcasting, it's different by country, but at least in US, 24 hours channel have already started from February. And a network service, as I said, Curiosity Service has 17 VOD, 3D title on VOD, and 12 title on PlayStation Network. And of course, personal contents. So those are the contents people can enjoy from now. So then, which contents is really fitting to 3D? So this is our survey. So people want to see which contents. So top 3 is obvious. One is movie, and the other one is nature program, and also sports event, followed by like a video game, or drama, or an action, and own personal video, and documentary, and music videos. Those are the categories people really want to see in 3D. Then, let me explain about the cinema situation. This graph shows total movie theater screens. In worldwide, we have 150,000 screens at movie theater. And this orange part is film-based. This blue and green part is digital cinema. And this green part is 3D capable. So by 2013, like 60% will be digital cinema, and half of them has a 3D capability. So, which is about like 40,000. And with this capability, if you go to cinema complex, which has like 10 screens, 3 screens is 3D capable, which makes 3 movie studio can run a 3D movie at the same time. That will justify their business model. And with such a 3D capability, this is the real box office revenue for the studios. So red part is 3D. So by the end of the year 2010, about 20% of revenue is created by 3D. So that push up total revenue. So total cinema revenue is growing because of this 3D. And this is number of release title of 3D. So this year we are expecting more than 50 titles will be released. And 3D movie title, still some movie theater runs in 2D. So this is a chart showing the ratio between 3D revenue and 2D revenue by title. Like Cloudy Chance of Meatball, Avatar, Alice in Wonderland, and those titles, as you see, especially Avatar, has 80% revenue done by 3D. And this blue part is IMAX 3D. So even other titles like a Shrek or Clash of Titans, those is about 50-50. And one of the reasons 3D has this much big contribution to the movie is maybe theater can charge more on 3D. That's really helping the total revenue increase. So as you see, the movie industry is really moving towards 3D, and that will really helping total business situation of the movie companies. Then this is the one of broadcasting stage chart. This is the first startup event. Sony and FIFA broadcasted World Cup Soccer 2010 in 3D. So ESPN or Japanese Sky Perfect TV, Spain's Digital Plus, and others broadcasted 3D, 25 games in 3D. And many public viewing is done with the projector. And Sony released such a Blu-ray 3D title of the FIFA World Cup. So this is a good start of 3D contents. And then Sony partnered with ESPN. So last year, they have broadcasted FIFA and Summer X game and college football and basketball, NBA and college basketballs. So major ESPN sports is on 3D now. Another category is golf. Sony shot PGA Golf in Hawaii in 3D, and Golf Channel shows this 3D image at their channel. And other partners like in Japan and UK, Canada, Nordic, Australia, Malaysia, those countries, this golf is also broadcasted. And Masters, we have Sony camera, and Comcast will have distributed the program, and 10 hours of 3D footage is covered by this. And we also announced that the Sony become official 3D sponsor, a 3D solution provider for Wimbledon. So host broadcaster is BBC. They shoot in 3D and broadcast in 3D, and this will be delivered to worldwide 3D channels. So if I see the sports genre, starting from soccer, FIFA and UEFA, or country-wise leagues broadcast soccer in 3D. And in the US, American football, college football is broadcasted in 3D, and basketball as well. And ice hockey of NHL broadcasted by Comcast, and golf and tennis, and so many other trials is going on. So I think sports is a leading category of the 3D. In addition to movie and sports, nature program, histories, and those are another attractive contents. I think after this session, 3Net people can explain more in detail. But Sony and Discovery and IMAX created a joint venture to make a dedicated 3D channel, which will have attractive this kind of content in 3D and broadcast 24 hours. And this is a collaboration in Japan. We work with Fuji Television and have a weekly variety program in 3D. And also, this is the first 3D drama series. And at the Sony booth, you can see one of the episodes. And also, we work with TBS and decided to make a World Heritage in 3D. And working with Sky Perfect TV channel, and they have over 100 contents already. So those are the initiatives in Japan. And I cannot touch upon one by one, but like more than 20 carrier has started 3D programs. But I think 3D content is not enough yet. So I think this kind of MIP TV is the right opportunity to trading 3D contents. So Sony has a booth to encourage this kind of 3D activity. So if you have a chance, please visit our booth. We made a booth together with MIP TV and showing B-Sky contents, 3net contents, and Japanese TBS or Fuji TV's contents. This is my presentation. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's a real pleasure for me to be here, and I will try to give you a panorama on 3D entertainment, both from a content perspective and a screen perspective. I'm afraid some of the slides would be perhaps a duplication of the previous presentation. It's now almost 3 years that we're working at PwC on 3D. We have been analyzing the market, the potential of the technology. 2 years ago, we said something like, 3D is here to stay this time, because there was a lot of skepticism after the 1950s history. And 2 years ago, a lot of people called us fools to believe that 3D was here to stay. Now I think history, the recent news flow has proven that 3D is a success. However, I would like to show a picture which is a bit more contrasted than that. First of all, let's start with the 3D movies. 4 years ago, nobody knew about 3D. There was absolutely no 3D films in the top 20 US movies, box office. Now, more than the half of the top 20 is released in 2D and 3D. All of this is not saying that 3D is ensuring or is a guarantee for success for a movie. That's not the case, and that's absolutely a nonsense. But it's just an illustration that most people are aware of 3D. I mean, the 3D is known by I would say, the mass market. And it's fair to think that in the coming years, there will be more and more 3D movie in this top 20, top grossing movie in the US and in Europe. Second illustration, 3D is not a US or a developed country phenomenon. When you look at the result of Avatar or a picture like this in a different country, you see very comparable level of revenue generated by 3D screens. So it's not a kind of rich country phenomenon. It's a real world phenomenon. Second, we have looked, perhaps on a longer period, at the share of revenue, of box office revenue generated by 3D screens. more or less, you have between 50 and 70% of box office revenue of a movie available in 2D and 3D, which are generated by 3D. This is a very strong demonstration that 3D movies is a commercial success. When you offer the choice to people to look at a film, a picture in 2D and in 3D, the majority of the people are going to look for the 3D version. There are some hiccups. That is right. Some countries are generating more than 70% of box office revenue with 3D. Jackass 3D, Piranha 3D. Okay, these films were targeting the 3D experience. More, I would say, family films like Toy Story are perhaps at the low end of the 50, 70% band. Because two issues, really. The first one is the price. If you go to see a movie with all your family and then you have to pay 4 times the 3D premium, that has a cost. And that's a real issue. Second is obviously that you, in a group of 4, you have a higher percentage of people who say, oh, I don't want to see it in 3D, because there is still some handicaps. 3D is here to stay, that's for sure. Look at the film slate. There is an a growing number of movies which should be released in 3D in 2011, 2012. I mean, we're not talking about medium movie. We're talking about potential blockbusters. Cars 2, Transformers, Harry Potter, Captain America, Star Wars. I'm very proud of seeing the return of Conan the Barbarian in 3D. I love to see that. I have to see that. But there are great movies which should be made available, released in 3D, and this is demonstrating the involvement of the studio and their conviction that 3D is a compelling offer, at least for theatrical exhibition. And when you look at the figure for the penetration of 3D screens, you have all the time between 30 and 40% of movie screens which should be 3D enabled by 2015. That's the same figure more or less in Europe, in advanced Asia, in the US. It's something that you can see everywhere. We've been interviewing a lot of theater groups. Some of them were very reluctant at the beginning. They were very reluctant on 3D. And after the success of Avatar, most of them have decided to join the 3D bandwagon and to embrace 3D because they could not afford to lose market share like this. Now, the tricky question. I mean, not everything is great. There are still some uncertainties, and the main one is really the premium. If you ask the question to the people, you do some survey, you have something like 40% who are not ready to pay any premium, who doesn't want to pay any premium to see a movie in 3D. Okay, first point. That's quite consistent with any survey you could do on price sensitivity. Usually, in most developed countries, you have 30% of people who are really price sensitive and therefore not ready to pay that kind of premium. But 70% or 77%, that was in the US, of people who are not ready to pay more than $4. And that's an issue because some films are really great in 3D, and perhaps people would be ready to pay a bit more than $4. But some other, the experience is not that great. And therefore, a premium of $3 or €3 is considered as too high and also deceptive. So I think studio has to be very careful, and theater group have to be very careful about their pricing strategy and pricing policy. And that's a real question, because if you have too many deceptive experiences, then you have the risk of losing grounds, and I mean of losing potential customer. Now let's move to 3D TV. Perhaps I will be a bit more contrasted than the previous speaker. I think that, yes, there are some projects, but for the moment, there are not that many. There are many trials, and I think after Avatar, a lot of TV executives were quite skeptical about 3D. The success of Avatar said, okay, let's do a trial, and it's not that complicated to do a 3D broadcasting. There are some issues, obviously, but that's not that complicated. The real question is, okay, what's the business case? And there is a lot of uncertainty in this area. First of all, there is a content gap. If you consider the amount of hours of program that you need to do a 24/7 linear TV channel, then you have a problem right now, and it's not ready to be solved. Even if I see more and more investment into 3D programming, there is still a lot of content which is missing. And then I think more than that, I think the issue is not that content gap, is also the fact that many TV executives don't know whether it's an appointment to view experience. I mean, you have a 3D program which is available in 2D and 3D into a traditional TV program grid, or if it's an on-demand experience, or the good old traditional 24/7 TV channel. I think there is a lot of uncertainties, and there is more R&D than a real business case so far. Maybe that will change. We believe that there is a business case, but still there is some years before reaching that breaking point. There again, equipment is not the issue. I think all the consumer electronics industry have been doing very great. I mean, the pricing of 3D TV have been very aggressive, perhaps the most aggressive pricing strategy ever in this industry. I mean, if you consider the price premium that was used for the first HD TV, we were talking about 300, even sometimes more % compared to the most comparable product. Here, I mean, the chipset for 3D is just worth $20, so it's nothing. And now you have almost no more price premium for TV for 3D TV. So I think it's fair to say that the consumer electronics have been doing great and been very, very aggressive. We believe that the equipment of the households will progress, but people will not buy a 3D TV as such. They will buy a future-proof television. It will be connected to the internet, will be probably 3D ready, many other features, but that's not what the 3D is not the key element that people will be willing to buy. Once again, because there are not that many content, and so far the TV industry is still missing the Avatar type of experience and of success. Now let's move to video games. There again, I think the consumer electronics industry have been doing very great. PlayStation 3 can be upgraded for free on 3D. And now there is even more than that. There is a movement detection system like Move, like Kinect, which is really offering a 3D camera looking at the player, which I think will be integrated in the gameplay in the near future. Nintendo 3DS, 3D without glasses, probably a future hit. Let's wait for that, but also it will make people more and more used to play in 3D and to have a 3D experience. But the real question is, yes, video gamer are quite, usually they are quite innovative, they are early adopters, but the issue is when you play a sport game, then what you want to do when you play a video game is to replicate what you have seen on TV. So as long as the TV is not embracing 3D for football, for basketball, all the games which are football games, basketball games, will have problem to adopt 3D because the player won't have the impression to do as if he was on the TV. Same with the adventure games. People want to be like in a movie, in an adventure movie. So it's really a chicken and eggs, and television will be needed. I mean, 3D TV will be needed to make 3D gaming develop. I won't spend too much time on it, but there are other areas for 3D. Obviously, user-generated content will be a hit. Photo, camera, for sure, people will embrace it. That will help and try to, and justify the investment in 3D TVs. There are other professional applications for 3D, medical, a lot of experiment and R&D programs are in 3D imagery. So the conclusion is still, our conclusion is still the same. 3D is here to stay. People will be equipped with 3D-ready screens. There is only one thing which is still a bit lagging, which is the 3D TV programming. Thank you very much.
Bonjour. Good day, everyone. My name is Young-Soo Oh, Director of Convergence Policy Bureau at the Korea Communications Commission. First of all, I appreciate to read with them for the opportunity of speech at the conference. And I appreciate Sony, which is sponsor. I'd like to give all my condolences to Japanese in difficulty and sadness due to RES disaster. Well, I'd like to share with you the current status in Korea regarding 3D TV broadcasting industry. My title for the presentation is Content for 3D TV Broadcasting in Korea. And my goal for today is to provide you with a broad perspective of my 3D TV broadcast industry in detail. Although the 3D industry in Korea is still at its nascent stage, you can discover a lot of potential. As you can see in this diagram, the demand for 3D content started in the local entertainment market in Korea. Approximately 90% of 3D content was targeted for this market at this initial stage. There were movie content and educational content. But these were not enough to satisfy consumers' need. Sooner or later, we could see consumer electronic market full of 3D TV and 3D display screen for personal computer and game console. So we have been seeing a shift in the trend, and we have created more content for home entertainment devices thanks to 3D at home. But interestingly, some of these home entertainment 3D content were reintroduced to the local entertainment market. There was a case when a terrestrial broadcaster such as EBS sold its content to the local science museum. So does this cycle of content guarantee any successful business model or even more a nationwide industry boom up? Of course, we will have yet to see if this becomes true. But one thing for sure, the digital switchover and the shutdown of analog TV at the end of 2012 will give us tremendous opportunities. We forecast a rapid growth. In the graph, you can almost see an exponential growth starting from 2013 to 2015. So by 2015, we will have a mature 3D industry, and 3D will be the most common media. But will this be enough? The digital transition may not be enough to explain the current trend in Korea. So, why the 3D is a trend in Korea? I'd like to emphasize two aspects. One is the aspect of device, and the other is the aspect of intense competition. Korea consumers tend to replace their old device into new ones in a short period. We are early adopter on average. Do you agree? And this demand pushes, without doubt, the market to produce better devices. The digital switchover will trigger a new cycle of 3D TV, as I have mentioned a few seconds ago. Additionally, most digital devices will have compatibility. Users will be able to consume the same content with different devices. And they will be able to consume diverse content through different media. Although a trade-driven economy, Korea is not a big market. Comparing with China or Japan, but we have many market players, and there is an intense competition. As a result of competition in the market, it creates more competition for strategic positioning for the next generation broadcasting. Currently, this competition is even more accelerated as many businesses emerge in the new pay TV platform, such as TV portals, service through connected TV or smart TV. Along with the two reasons above, I think the more fundamental reason why 3D industry could flourish in Korea is that we have powerful network, innovative devices, and diverse content service platforms. Quality of service, we call it QoS, is a must in order to provide the high definition and high volume audio-video content. And in order to guarantee the QoS, both fixed and wireless networks need to be improved and enhanced. In case of fixed line, we set a goal to establish an ultra broadband network, gigabit bandwidth and connection speed by the year 2012. We also plan to create a fourth generation network, such as LTE Advanced, with maximum downlink transfer rate 600 megabps until 2014. So let's see an aspect of devices. There has been a constant increase in smartphone demand in Korea, and it is estimated that the numbers have risen from 0.8 million on December 2009 to 10 million on March this year. Korea have two major electronic companies, as you know, Samsung and LG Electronics. They are competing for the production of new and innovative otoscopic 3D devices. In 2010, Samsung and LG Electronics already launched its first Full HD 3D LED. And recently, Samsung received 5 stars and the Editor's Choice Award from CNET UK for its Full HD 3D Smart TV, 7,000 3Ds, each active type. On the other hand, LG Electronics has recently launched its Infineon Cinema 3D Smart TV, its passive type. And recently, I heard that LG Electronics and Samsung will both release its autostereoscopic 3D notebook sometime this month. I would also like to mention the major market player of content services in Korea. We have 2 existing telcos. SKT has introduced their on-screen service, Hopin. SKT is launching this service together with Samsung smartphone, which is called Galaxy S. KT will soon introduce application for OLED TV and screen service. It will produce this on-screen service to connect its content on smartphones and tablet PCs. We also have cable operator CJ Hello Vision. CJ Hello Vision provides real-time broadcasting on-demand services through a TVing service. This service enables the customers to use the VOD service with their computers, notebooks, smartphones, and tablet PCs. I would also like to add broadcast service in Korea. Korea is the first country in the world where terrestrial 3D broadcasting based on side-by-side method has been on air for 3 months from May 2010. During that period, 2010, Daegu pre-championship meeting of IAAF, International Association of Athletics Federation, and challenge, Usain Bolt joined. And 2010 South Africa FIFA World Cup were broadcasted live in 3D by digital terrestrial TV. And at G20 Summit, Seoul Summit, we showed the HD 3D TV broadcasting trial event. Korea developed the world's first HD 3D TV broadcasting technology that allows simultaneous broadcasting of HD 3D and HD 2D over the existing broadcasting channel without additional frequency, so that it can guarantee backward compatibility with existing normal digital TV. Also, exclusive 3D channels have been allocated to satellite broadcasting, and Skylife, the satellite broadcaster in Korea, started its test trial broadcasting in 2010, and it started its commercial services on March this year. Currently, some operators of digital cable TV and IPTV and 3D content in their VOD services. In the future, we plan to verify the HD 3D TV broadcasting technology through the live trial of 2011 Daegu World Athletic Championship and 2012 Yeosu World Expo. Now, let's explore Korea 3D content. Have we visited in Korea 3D content showcase? No? I hope so. The following content was produced in 2010. You can notice that there is a diverse genre of content, from entertainment such K-pop, Korean popular music, to historical and scientific documentary. You can see from the table the differences between the global market and the Korean 3D market. Now we are preparing for releasing of another test trial by terrestrial broadcasting, as I have just explained. Currently, the VOD also can be available among about 9 million household subscribers in Korea. As time goes on, it is evident that the consumers will have a variety of choice as the price of 3D TV falls and the content increases. But there are some challenging issues facing with Korea. We do not have enough content corresponding to increasingly grown platforms and channels. This weak link is due to 3 reasons following. First, there is a high cost structure in producing 3D content. It is much more expensive than 3D content production, almost twice or 3 times as expensive as the 2D production cost. And the ROI is still low. This will not be appealing to the business community. Second, we lack the human resources to create and produce 3D content. Third, there is a technology limitation. Due to this reason, the Korea government have been creating an investment fund and a digital production center to promote the industry. The Korea government also initiated frequent test trial for 3D broadcast in order to reduce technical cost regarding technical limitations. Oops. I got to point out once again that the presentation was based mostly on the Korean case, so it may not provide you with suitable solution to the problem you face in your region. But I do hope that this presentation has given you some insights for new opportunities along with many players in Korea. And I would like to emphasize that Korea provides a business-friendly environment. I really look forward to hearing good news regarding business partnership and technical cooperation between you and Korean company. Korea has more various reference sites, but of course, Korea is not big market yet. In comparing with Asian market, which is big. Although we hope we will have chances of business, and we are the kind member of global cooperation. We invite you. Thank you very much.
I'm going to give you a very quick back to the future ride, if you like, from the origins of 3D cinema through to the 24/7 3D channel between Sony, Discovery, and IMAX. The role of IMAX in 3D is important at the origin, but I also feel it's very important that IMAX maintains a role of champion of quality. And if nothing else, I would like to recommend to everybody that the success of 3D in all windows in the future is going to depend on maintaining quality. I think I'll stop there. So what is IMAX? For those of you who have not seen IMAX in the flesh, shame on you, but it is the world's most immersive cinematic experience. And what we try to do is to put you in the picture. We try and give you an experience that is more engaging, more powerful, and takes you closer to what the film director intended. The key we've discovered in consumer research for the success of IMAX is not to do with the consumer's perception of the technology, it's to do with the greater emotional connection. And I think that's true for cinema, and it's true for 3D in TV applications as well. If you're not connecting to the consumer with greater emotional impact, then you're wasting your time. IMAX has always been 2D and 3D, and will continue to have a balance of programming between 2D and 3D. Some filmmakers like Chris Nolan will not work in 3D. Some, like Michael Bay, said they wouldn't and now are doing so. But generally speaking, the balance may vary, and at the moment there is a strong focus on 3D. IMAX started back in 1967 at the Montreal Trade Cine Expo, not Cine Expo, Expo, and then it set up the first permanent theatre in '71 in Toronto. The first 3D theatre, the first commercial 3D theatre, was in Vancouver in 1986. This was a film-based system. It's a 70-meter film that runs horizontally through the camera. The space compared to the space of the film segment compared to 35mm is 10 times as big, which gives us the capacity to light the world's largest screens. That technology has now been largely supplanted in the sense of our business model has changed from these very spectacular architectural destinations to now we tend to do digital retrofits of the largest hall in a standard or a new-built multiplex auditorium using IMAX's twin digital projector technology. So what we do is we take an auditorium, we move the screen forward, and everything within the auditorium is customized to make sure that the experience that they get in the digital IMAX is as close, if not better, than the experience they got in the very large film-based theaters. Basically, by moving the screen forward, keeping the geometry, the relationship between the viewer and the image consistent, we can immerse people in the image and get the emotional contact that we've always had. The IMAX system is better, I believe, not for any one single reason, but for a suite of different reasons. The immersive theater geometry, we have real-time image processing, so the computer system that runs the dual projectors will, like the computer on your car, regulate in real time the image that is coming back off the screen. We have enhanced source material, so all the material has been digitally remastered and enhanced through the IMAX DMR process, and that's one of the key things for the filmmakers' support, is they like the improved quality of their basic image. We also have remastered the sound, we have unrivaled sound quality, we have a control and diagnostic system, and the 3D experience in an IMAX is, I believe, unparalleled. And the key to this is two things. One is the geometry, and one is the amount of light that we put onto the screen. The standard DLP standard for a digital projection is 14 foot lamberts of light. IMAX puts 22 foot lamberts of light on. You all know that when you put on your 3D glasses, you're effectively putting on sunglasses and cutting out 30% of the light. If you start with more light, you have a brighter image and a better experience at the end. But in terms of geometry, this diagram shows you a conventional cinema screen, a digital 3D screen. The image has to live within that blue triangle of vision. Within the IMAX screen, you have a taller screen, a wider screen, and you can bring that 3D image closer. So increasingly, directors and producers are generating films where they have, from the outset, decided to create a 3D product rather than changing it in post-production, which can be variable. So within a major cinema operator's suite of products, we believe there should be what I call good, better, best. There should be good 35mm presentation or good 2D digital presentation. There should be regular digital 3D presentation, and there should be IMAX presentation. IMAX is not for all films. It's not for all customers because there's a price premium, a hefty price premium attached. and it's not for all locations. But it does present, we believe, the premium quality viewing experience, and particularly the premium 3D viewing experience. We established our credentials with 3D movies back since 1985, and we've generated some very large box office cumulatively on some of the key documentary IMAX films. But it was the advent of Polar Express that really lit the blue touch paper for the cinema, the modern cinema 3D industry. Most commentators point to this film as the event that made people realize there was serious commercial prospects in Hollywood 3D as opposed to nature educational documentaries. It was a fantastic experience. It remains an unbelievable experience, particularly for children. And when 25% of that film's box office was done on 1% of the screens, Hollywood woke up to the potential of digital 3D. So IMAX, we have had an increasing number of films releasing each year on IMAX, increasing proportion of those on 3D indeed. And last year we did $546 million in box office in the IMAX screens alone. For some of those films there, it was a significant proportion of the total box office that came in IMAX, but for all of them, the IMAX release served to make the film more of an event, to make it a more exciting proposition for everybody, whether they were seeing it on IMAX or not. Our film slate going forward contains most of the major tentpoles for the rest of the year, and certainly most of the major 3D tentpoles for the rest of the year. The key to our continued success is the commitment of the directing talent in Hollywood. The biggest names in Hollywood want their films to go out on IMAX or IMAX 3D. They will also differentiate the product. So Brad Bird, for example, has shot sequences for Mission Impossible 4 using IMAX cameras. Chris Nolan has done the same. Bob Zemeckis tends to move the artifacts within a 3D environment within the IMAX to improve the visual experience for the public. You can get more impactful 3D effects, and increasingly the CGI versions of films are bespoke for the IMAX version. We've also launched a 4K digital 3D camera, which will make it cheaper and easier for directors to actually produce the films in IMAX format. But if you listen to what the directors are saying, whether it's Tim Burton with his remarkable imagination, whether it's James Cameron, who is in other ways perhaps the godfather of 3D, what they can do with the IMAX version comes closest, I think, to realizing the vision that they are trying to communicate. And as 3D goes through the windows into television, it's really important, I think, that we hang on to the belief that what we're trying to do is get as close as possible to what the filmmaker was trying to communicate, and that means retaining quality both in the creation and in the replication. Steven Spielberg has always understood the need to bring people back to the cinema, whether it's with epic blockbusters like Jaws, and now he understands that the 3D experience is something that gives the cinema the opportunity to heighten the experience before the film goes on into the other windows. So generally speaking, the success of IMAX 3D triggered the development of digital 3D. And digital 3D screen development, as we've seen from some of these other graphs, has followed basically behind digital screen growth. The digital 3D has raised prices. There are significant price premiums available at the moment. They are certainly on some genres declining, I think, but they are there, and they are creating significant additional revenue for the studios and for the film producers. On IMAX, we have raised prices above even the 3D, regular 3D. We have also significantly increased admissions, which has not always been the case on digital 3D cinema productions. The studios and the filmmakers have embraced IMAX and continue to embrace IMAX, and the 3D films now cover most of the major, if not all the major genres. And I think it's fair to say that the 3D movie development has both driven and supported the growth of 3D television. A couple of charts just to finish. This is a little repetitive, for which I apologize, but as the digital screens have expanded, so the penetration of 3D screens has expanded behind it. I believe they're probably going to plateau in the next 4 or 5 years. I don't personally believe that all films will be on 3D. There will always be a place for 2D. There was even a 2D animation in Paris earlier this year advertising that it was not on 3D as a positive benefit. So I think we will find that 3D is very, very important, but it is not the sum total of cinema production. There is also a change, again, which was touched on by previous speakers, moving from the proportion of movies that are animation to the proportion that are live action. And within the IMAX film slate, you can see that same thing, that we are moving to an increasing proportion of our 3D movies being live action 3D rather than animated 3D. There are various reasons for that, but we believe that the biggest commercial successes going forward are going to be in the live action 3D. Harry Potter 7B, the few minutes I saw of it in Las Vegas last week, will be unbelievable on 3D and even more unbelievable on IMAX 3D. So that brings us through to now, where IMAX in February launched with Sony and Discovery one of these 24/7 3D networks. It was launched on the DirecTV channel. And what IMAX brought to that partnership is our unparalleled experience of 3D, but also our brand and our commitment to quality. I think we contribute a very significant library, but we also, I hope, contribute an attitude of mind, which is the quality, if you like, the championing of quality within 3D. IMAX, we believe we have the best cinema experience, the best 3D cinema experience. And again, I'd like to finish on an appeal to everybody to make sure that the 3D and the 3D replication and the 3D transmission, be it on TV or any other device, should start and finish with the idea that we try and get as close as possible to the filmmaker's vision and have a quality product and not have the prospects of 3D slowed or damaged by poorer quality presentation. Thank you very much.
Is there any question?
Yes, Doug Stanley here from Ridgeline 3D. A lot of the information that you presented today, gentlemen, is very valuable to those of us who are building 3D production companies and seeking funding and getting into this in a manner where we can produce quality content. I'm wondering if some of the information that you have is available to us. It would certainly help in our attempts at raising funding and in growing this market.
Some of the presentation will be made available on the internet this afternoon on the site. Any other question?
With the IMAX, what's the minimum that we need to be shooting at to deliver for IMAX in terms of, is it 2K okay, or is it 4K as a minimum?
Well, any source material, I think needs, I'm not a technical guy, but I think it needs to be 2K at least. And then what we do is we go through the DMR process, which is a digital media remastering process in our headquarters or our film headquarters in LA. And we will work with the filmmaker on putting their digital stream through an algorithmic process to upgrade it so that when we blow it up onto the big IMAX screens, it's at the right quality. So I can get you a definite answer, but I'm not a technical person, so don't go to the bank with my...
Any more questions? Okay. Thank you.
Okay.